McMenamin's Edgefield Brewfest is happening once again on Saturday, June 27th. From noon to 7 p.m., there will be live music, lawn games, and everyone is invited, including your kids and well-behaved dogs. Bring chairs and blankets, sit back and relax all day long while enjoying a selection of over 100 of the Pacific Northwest's finest craft beers and ciders. Get tickets now at McMenamins.com. That's McMenamins.com. Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about why Oregon is now considered to have the worst state hospital in the nation and why our leaders' best laid plans for the Oregon bottle bill are unraveling. Sorry, kind of a bummer of a show, but to make up for it, joining me are two of our very own CityCast Portland producers, Giulia Fiaoni and Rachel Monahan. Welcome, friends. Thanks for being here this morning.
Yay.
Hello. Good morning.
This is the first show where all three of us are on it at the same time.
Woohoo. We'll see how it goes.
I know. We're like, and that are the lost tapes. It's just we never see the light of day.
It's just silent for the rest of the show.
Because one of us forgot to record, of course. Okay. As you both know, I usually kick things off with an opening question so our listeners can get to know you two a little better. Fun fact.
No, really? We have an opening question?
Well, I was going to say, fun fact, it's usually Rachel who ends up coming up with all these opening questions because
That's
as
so
our
true.
resident mom, she's usually been up the longest at our morning meetings, so her brain is just firing on all cylinders while the rest of us are quite literally still wearing our pajamas. That's
True.
not a joke.
Not a joke at all.
Not a joke at all. So thank you, Rachel. So Rachel, as you well know, today I wanted to talk CSAs. And as we all well know, we're entering peak summer produce season. And Kopiwe Farms is offering a tomato-only CSA. This tomato CSA only runs 8 weeks between August and September, and a full share gets you 6 to 8 pounds of tomatoes per week.
Oh my God.
You'll experience over 24 varieties, many of them native to Chile, which is where the farmer has roots in. So the Portland Mercury did a write-up of the CSA and had a few pictures of the tomatoes, and I promise you guys, they look so good. And colors I'd never seen. I also learned from the Mercury that Kopiwe is named after Chile's national flower, and this is their second year offering their surprisingly popular tomato-only CSA because I guess there's a ton of BLT lovers out there. I don't know. I mean, tomato sandwiches are dang good. You guys have tomato sandwiches, right?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Tomato
no,
everything.
never.
Oh, man.
Rachel's peak sarcasm this morning.
Apparently.
Because it's like 2 p.m. for her right now.
I know.
She's already over it.
She's going to bed.
I know. She's like, I'm going because I'm tired.
After this.
I also wanted to shout out TLTs if you prefer tempeh or tofu, because I don't know if anyone here has already had a smoky maple tempeh bacon, but it's so delicious and I kind of like it more than regular bacon. It's weird. I was raised in a weird cult where we were vegetarians, so I do have a hankering. I do have a longing for fake meats sometimes.
You have comfort tempeh.
It's a total comfort food. No joke. It's comfort tempeh. All right.
Fun fact, I also grew up vegetarian, but I don't really like fake meats. I'm just starting to learn to like them. Anyway.
Was it in a weird Christian cult?
No.
Okay.
No, just like ordinary American hippie.
Okay.
Very different.
Anyways, I'm going to throw a link to the farm CSA sign up in the show notes if anyone listening is interested. No promises that there'll still be spots available, but I'll make that link available. All of this, though, brings me to my opening question. What would be your ideal one food CSA?
I just really like the idea of one food CSAs.
Oh, really?
Like I could actually commit to it. Like the only times I've done CSAs, I do end up wasting produce. It's like I can't get myself to cook the kohlrabi or whatever it is. So
it's always the freaking kohlrabi. All right.
So I don't usually do a CSA, though I aspire to it regularly. Sometimes my husband's like, no, you cannot. But I feel like I would use a cherry CSA or maybe an artichoke CSA. Like I can imagine like really enjoying getting like weekly recipes on doing something interesting with either of those. So
Artichoke, that's a curve. But I guess there are different kinds of artichokes.
Yeah, you could do so many different dishes with that. You can also pickle artichokes. I feel like I had a hard time moving on from tomatoes because I think that is just such a good idea. I grew up with my family making large batches of sauce in August and September to freeze for the winter months. So that's kind of something where I would take that in that direction. But I also noticed that I eat salad every day during the summer, and I wouldn't mind having a fresh head of lettuce every day and to be able to just like really dig into all the different types of salads that you can make with other produce combined. I feel like that could be the sweet spot for summer. But this is also the first year that I've started my own garden, and I'm noticing the different just timing of certain produce that I hadn't really thought of before. And I did think to myself once that I would be down to just do an entire tomato garden next year. So I feel like still that would be my ideal.
The tomato.
Yeah.
Greens is a good idea, though. I think that's, I mean, if you got the tomato garden going, you might as well get the all green CSA. I'm not here to dictate your life, your fake life that we've just created for you, but that sounds like a good balance.
yeah, and you could have some variation in the greens too. It wouldn't have to be exactly the same every week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mine would be summer squash because there's so many varieties of squash I know I'm sleeping on. I only really eat green zucchini or yellow straight necks, and it's still like, I'm so stoked about it. There's a whole world I could be exploring. Like, I don't think I've ever had, I think they're called like scallop summer squash or patty pans. They're like the little flat UFO little disc ones. Never had them. There's also these two-tone zephyrs, like green at the bottom and yellow at the top. Giulia, I know your people have their own varieties, one named after a trumpet. It's all long and curly and skinny with a bulbous bottom.
To be real with you, Claudia, I like a squash. I don't love a squash. So I really don't know much about it, which I know could be personally offensive to you because I know you're a real
love
squash head.
I'm a real squash head. I go deep with squash. I'm like thousands of years. I love squash.
I also have a somewhat anti-squash reaction to this.
Out of here, both of you.
Particularly
Fired.
summer squash, fall squash, winter squash, yes. Summer squash, no. But I also feel like we should do a call out to listeners. I feel like anyone with a garden ends up with extra squash. Like they just grow so much. You should be able to get this for free, Claudia. Don't ever pay
Send it
for a
to
squash
me.
CSA. Yes.
Wish you could email me squash. Email me
Yes.
at Portland at CityCast. Also, did you guys notice how I didn't trash your answers? But that's fine. That's
I'm
cool.
just being real.
It's just a preemptive strike, Claudia. We know you'll get us later.
That's true.
Thank you both for your answers. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, Rachel is going to be talking through a series of stories documenting some really neglectful and deadly practices by the Oregon State Hospital. Listen up, LGBTQ plus community. If you're looking for a new healthcare provider, check out Bywater Health. That's Bywater with a BY. They're founded by a queer nurse practitioner and are offering comprehensive primary care, HIV treatment and prevention, same-day STI testing, and more. Bywater Health combines expert clinical care with the radical joy of queer culture, so no judgment, no filters, just smart, sex-positive medicine that respects your identity. They also accept most commercial insurance plans. You can find out more details and request an appointment by visiting bywaterhealth.com. Again, that's Bywater with a BY. bywaterhealth.com. Got leftover paint, stain, or varnish taking up space in your basement or garage? You're not alone. Many of us finish a project and end up with half-used cans we're just not sure what to do with. Don't let them sit there collecting dust, taking up space. Recycle them with Paint Care. Whether it's cans from a recent renovation or years of storage, Paint Care helps ensure your paint is managed responsibly and kept out of landfills. Drop off your cans for free at one of more than 175 conveniently located drop-off sites across Oregon. To find a drop-off site near you, visit paintcare.org. That's paintcare.org. So, Rachel, you looked into a series the Oregonian reported on, documenting a really awful case of the Oregon State Hospital mistreating a patient that ended in his death. And then from then, they just dove in and dug up even more stuff. Where is everything at?
Well, reporter Lillian Monjo Hughes at the Oregonian spent months investigating the Oregon State Hospital and its use of a practice called seclusion on its psychiatric patients. It's a bit what it sounds like. For seclusions, the standard practice is to put a psychiatric patient in a room alone with monitoring by nurses and staff, but only for a few minutes. It's supposed to be infrequent, this practice, and no more than 4 hours. Well, isolating a patient can help avoid fights because patients see each other ordinarily, let things cool down, but that's not what happened in this case or at the Oregon State Hospital. A patient named Kenneth Haas, who was 25, died in March of last year. He had been held in seclusion for more than 7 months when he died.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's 250 days.
That could
And the
turn
thing-
somebody like actually insane if they're not already going through something.
Yeah,
that
that is
could trigger
exactly what I was going to
episodes.
say next. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Rachel. You're
yeah.
like, that was what I was going to say if you had not interrupted me.
Please say it. Like, I think that if any of us were locked in a room alone without a way to get out, even if we were monitored, it wouldn't be good for us. And Haas had schizophrenia and he had been civilly committed. So he was in a much more vulnerable state. And the Oregonian story quotes multiple experts saying, basically condemning the use of long-term seclusions. I pulled one example. This is from a criminology professor at the University of California, Irvine, named Karamet Ryder. After only a few days, people who were previously mentally healthy can have serious psychiatric and traumatic symptoms. After only a few days. And someone with a serious mental illness, which would certainly include schizophrenia, should never be in conditions like this at all. And disturbingly, the Oregonian found this wasn't an isolated case.
Oof.
There were 177 patients that had been held for more than 24 hours in that particular year they looked at. And in 2024, the Oregonian reports Oregon held psychiatric patients in seclusion across public and private hospitals at the highest rate in the country, higher than any other state. That's according to the newsroom's analysis of data from the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Yeah.
That is a bummer. I mean, did the hospital at all respond as to why they were doing? Not that there would ever be a really, perfectly, oh, well, that makes sense response, but I'm just curious, like, what they've said.
So the hospital's chief of psychiatry at the time, who now works for the Oregon Department of Corrections, defended the practice.
Okay.
And he wrote in an email to the Oregonian, quote, "Seclusion and restraint are not tactics. They are responses to violence that endangers the safety of patients and staff." So the Oregonian looked into that claim. So the thing is that after Haas's death, his death did bring attention to this issue, and the number of seclusions went down. But patient on staff injuries at the state hospital, well, they did rise from 2022 to 2023. They've plateaued. And, it does not appear to be related to how often patients are secluded. So, according to their findings.
Yeah. Well, what breaks my heart is that Kenneth's father initially saw the commitment as a saving grace. That's what he told the Oregonian. Because as it stands, there's little to no help with someone in the throes of a schizophrenic break in our healthcare system. Like, art and group therapy does not work when someone is having an episode. They're going through a medical emergency that needs immediate medical intervention and supervision. And for many advocates, of civil commitments who are parents or family members of people dealing with schizophrenia, they saw it as a solution. Like a well-trained and well-staffed mental health facility should be able to effectively and safely civilly commit someone without it resulting in their death, you know? And our state's lack of mental health service infrastructure was a big concern for many when Oregon House Bill 2005 went into effect this year, because that amendment, among many other needed reforms, essentially lowered the bar of entry to get civilly committed, which again, many parents were just like, phew, there's finally something for my schizophrenic child. Like there's some sort of base that could hold them when I cannot reach them, you know, when no one else can reach them.
I think the context for this story that you point out is really important. Like we see on the streets of Portland that people are sometimes suffering from really extreme mental health conditions. And I think advocates have worked for a long time to be able to find ways to have more people who need it be given healthcare in a hospital setting. And so if this institution, the Oregon State Hospital, is also failing people, it's like we have nowhere to turn.
Exactly.
I mean, hopefully Hass's death has brought attention to this issue in a way that things will continue to improve there. But it's certainly really alarming that this ever could have happened, and concerning that someone who worked there is still defending the practice that led to this.
Well, it seems like a top-down issue, because I know in the same article, a staff member admitted to the Oregonian, and here's a quote, "It became a running joke among burnt-out staff that Kenneth was going to die at that hospital."
Oh my God.
That's a fucked up thing to like be a running joke. That's your job.
Yeah.
So all I could think of is the hospital is not well staffed and the staff is not well. Like they're not trained. Or they shouldn't be there. Clearly, this isn't your calling, or you're burnt out. I mean,
You're not fit for this.
it's the most vulnerable of our population. At their most vulnerable state, they need well-trained professionals.
There were so many quotes in this article that left me feeling, frankly, nauseous and thinking about the things that happened before Kenneth died. And the one that really stuck out to me is that he was using the environment of his room to self-harm. There were examples of him climbing onto the sink and diving headfirst on the floor. And when that wasn't happening, it was because he was tied to a bed. And it makes me think about like the choices that staff is making to just have some sense of control over the situation. And that decision-making process really does point to what you're saying, Claudia. It sounds like a situation that is totally strained and clearly isn't working, because those steps don't feel like they're benefiting anybody at this point.
Yeah. I think to go back a step to what Claudia was saying before, I think there are problems at the state hospital that haven't been fully addressed in the aftermath of this. The Oregonian points to staffing shortages, as we've mentioned, insufficient training, and also toxic work culture that I think is going to take a lot of work to repair. And also to acknowledge how challenging the working conditions are. The hospital is dealing with a patient population that is more likely to have been accused or convicted of violent crimes. So they are dealing with really extreme situations. And, you know, that is a real challenge. It is also very, very tragic the way this patient was treated, and apparently others.
Well, I know Lillian is most definitely going to continue covering this. Hopefully we can have her back on the show and maybe dive a little deeper once more has been unfolded, because I don't think that is the last we're going to hear about the Oregon State Hospital or from their administration. Well, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, the bottle bill is back in the news. Same story, new problems. Okay, so I'm passing the mic to Giulia. This is actually another one of Lillian Monjo Hughes' headlines. She also wrote about this bottle bill fiasco. I swear, if she had like written the tomato CSA, it would have been an all Lillian show. She really blew that. She really should have thought about expanding her coverage to tomato CSAs.
I'm sure she had so much time to do that with all this coverage.
Yeah, and another thing, Friday at 5 p.m. Have you heard about this all tomato CSA? So Giulia, what is going on with the Oregon bottle bill this time?
Yeah, so Lillian's talking about some updates related to revisions Oregon lawmakers made to the bottle bill just last year. And just to back up for a second, basically last year, lawmakers voted overwhelmingly to pass a revised Oregon bottle bill that was meant to create a new alternative redemption center model. And this is just for cities with a population over 500,000 people in Oregon. And the hope was to relieve the burden on grocers who have been expected to hand count individual cans and address the needs of people who are bringing in bottles and cans called canners. These are just folks who make a significant portion of their income trading in cans. And the update is that this whole thing is falling apart and nobody's stoked about it. So the plan was to set up nonprofit-run alternative redemption centers paid for by grocery store owners within a 3.5-mile radius of the new centers all over town. And the cool thing was that a small-scale version of this type of center already exists in Portland. So there's already kind of a model, or at least an example of what it could look like. It's called the People's Depot, and it's run by a nonprofit called Ground Score that was started and is led by people who are or who have been homeless.
That's so cool.
I know, right? Like something that really does make sense in all of this. But the People's Depot hoped to become an official alternative access redemption center under this revised bill, which would have included a few things. Basically, moving into a permanent indoor location, being able to pay their staff more hours, and offering some type of additional outreach services for people who are coming in and are homeless. So far, none of this has happened, and this is because nearby grocery store owners who are key in making sure that there's enough money to fund the alternative redemption center model have decided to pull out. But before I get into why they made that choice, I just want to open it up to any thoughts that are coming to mind right now. I want to know if you're surprised to hear that the revised bottle bill isn't working at this point, and if you're maybe disappointed. I'm curious. What are you guys thinking?
I was a little surprised by this story because the coverage of the legislation passing, it seemed like for once everything had been neatly tied up. Everyone agreed. You don't see that very often, but I thought this would ride off into the sunset and we would never hear of this again.
Yeah. The fact that the larger grocery stores found a loophole of sorts to save money, that to me is bad legislation. I'm like, you should have thought of that. I'm like, you dropped the ball. I just know if I were a legislator, I just know that if I was making laws and I was dealing with big grocery, by the way, big grocery, which by the way has like the smallest profit margins. Like you steal 2 toothbrushes from them and they're going bankrupt. You know what I mean? Like
that's why they have security guards at the doors.
No joke. I know we talk I know it's just like, oh, a big corporation, but no, like that business model is just ass backwards. So I get why they're like, we don't want to spend any more money and they found a way not to. And now it's all the small grocers, which they're running on fumes. And they're just like, please fund these. I mean, someone should have thought of this. Someone should have seen this coming.
Yeah. Can I talk a little bit about that loophole? Because Claudia, you're nailing exactly what I thought was so fascinating and frustrating about this whole thing is that basically the revised bottle bill gave grocery stores options and how they wanted to take
options.
Sorry. Gave them options and how they wanted to take part in this whole revised thing. So they never had to commit to the alternative redemption site model to begin with, which in hindsight is a huge oversight on the lawmakers' part because the whole thing, it only works if everybody is invested. And the loophole is instead of investing in these alternative sites, a lot of big grocers are hosting blue and green bag bottle return programs in their parking lots instead. So they don't have to count the cans anymore. They're just intaking bags, but they also don't have to invest in this model. And the tough part is that this green and blue bag program isn't really feasible for small grocers. So they've been kind of just like left in the dust to bear the cost of this new alternative model, which is why everything is unraveling, because obviously that's that's not going to work. And the thing that's tough about it is that small grocers are now saying if big grocers are not going to step up and invest in this, then we'd rather just go back to hand counting because none of this is working for us. Yeah. And the thing that's tough is like, I used to work at a smaller grocery store, and counting bottles was like one of the most hated tasks in your day. And so many folks hated it so much that they would stop individually counting if a manager wasn't around, and they just give like an eyeball guesstimate. And I'm like, oh, well, that's probably not good. So people were getting money back for cans they weren't even bringing in. It's a whole mess. I'm sure that's still happening now. But I will say there are a couple of changes related to bottle return coming just right around the corner still. Not everything is at a complete standstill. So Oregon's Beverage Recycling Cooperative, which administers the state's bottle return and can redemption program, is still planning on...
Are we talking about Obrick?
Obrick, yeah.
Good old Obrick? Obrick?
They're still planning on spending $750,000 on moving the People's Depot into a permanent indoor location.
Good. Yeah.
And this would also cover 1 year of rent, labor, and trash pickup at the site, but only just a year. And it would also include assistance from the Portland Police Bureau in helping mentally ill people that come through who are presenting a danger to themselves or others.
Where are they going to go, though? We just found out they got nowhere to go.
They're keeping an eye on the community there, but obviously there is some backlash from neighbors because it's right near Southeast Powell, near the Clinton Triangle, which is also another space for people who are homeless to get shelter. So it's just like putting a lot of strain on this area, and it's not a safe area when it comes to cars too. So there's like already issues with that. But anyway, the key detail here is that Portland's largest bottle drop location, which is the Trademark Bottle Drop at Delta Park in North Portland, is still closing on July 31st. Mm-hmm. And this will be just days after the new People's Depot site is supposed to open. And the worry is that the People's Depot is not going to be able to keep up with the intake because across the board, the People's Depot has only processed a fraction of the cans the Delta Park location does regularly. So it doesn't seem like it's going to exactly meet the need. And there is no plan as of right now on how we're going to manage all of the excess bottles and cans that should still be processed, which, keeping in mind, obviously, there's nowhere to go to take in bottles and cans as regularly. That's going to directly impact folks who rely on that income right now. So I feel like there is a whole even bigger mess possibly right around the corner at this point.
What I'm hearing is that the heroes, which is a lowly grocery store worker who was just about to go on break, but now has to count 5 bags of cans, is just going to be like, yep, that looks like 500 to me, sir. Here you go. And it's going to end up costing even more. I'm just surprised that Obrick, what is the organization that...
The OBRC?
Yeah, that like...
Maybe that's easier.
That essentially manages the bottle program, because I can't imagine they don't have money. Like, I don't understand why there isn't money for this. That's all. I mean, there's always money in the banana stand. That's how I see the banana stand being government.
How did we get there?
I think ultimately they're showing us that they're willing to invest only so much because they're covering the first year of the People's Depot's new indoor location being able to operate. But if ultimately the problem is if big grocers don't come back to the table, then this new bill means nothing. And we're back at square one again, back to where we were just a year ago.
They had no incentive to, God, you guys, legislators, what are you doing? Why? I wonder if this was like, because, I think there were the grocery associations that were also at the table negotiating this, making sure that their interests were also taken care of. And I wonder if this was one of the caveats or like okay, we'll give you this. And like legislatures did, for some reason, just assume the best. Just like, no, why they keep doing that? Democrats.
I mean, I just think that if the middle ground option for big grocers is this blue and green bag program, then why not think of a solution to give small grocers the option to participate in that instead? Why don't we all move in that direction instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and have that go nowhere? But, you know, just one gal's opinion.
I don't know. Sounds pretty freaking smart to me. Rachel, yes.
But it also seems like the legislation was intended to support this nonprofit and the very good work they're doing. I know the article points out that, like, you know, part of what neighbors don't like about having these centers in their neighborhood is what else is attracted to them. And at least according to the reporting, there's some suggestion that there's more investment from people experiencing homelessness and keeping it a safe and clean area where they're dropping off these bottles. So I do think it would be a shame if the solution doesn't involve this nonprofit as well.
It's a great point, Rachel. I will say, and I'll end here, but there are many examples of folks who come into the People's Depot initially just dropping off cans, and then they are eventually employed by them. So they have a 90% retention rate. So there is a lot there that is worthy to invest in, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Giulia, thanks for looking into that. You guys, we did it. We did a show together for the first time. One of us hit record, I think.
I hope.
Yeah. Someone's going to cut this, I'm sure. Who's doing this today? Is it Rachel?
Nose goes.
Julia.
It's Giulia.
Yeah, that is not how this works, Julia. This is not the playground.
I touched my nose very quickly, listeners, just so you know.
Rachel, I'm pretty sure that you have to cut it now. I don't know. I mean, I'm just the host, but I saw her touch her nose the quickest. So.
Yeah. That is really not how it works outside the playground.
Rachel would know.
You're just like, listen, I've been up since 5. Giulia, you're still wearing your pajama pants. You're cutting this. Okay. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope we do this again. I want us all together again one day.
Yeah, it was lovely.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend, rate it, leave us an amazing review. You can also support this show and also get some great perks like ad-free listening by becoming a CityCast Portland neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.
Or the artichoke CSA pickup.
Not. Over squash? I just don't see it.
All right, fine. The tomato CSA pickup. Fine.
Yeah, we can all agree on that one.
That's pretty good.